again the king will try to last, but it will all end in a horrible blast. This is the story of King Alexander III, brother to his fallen comrade King Alexander II. They were twins, you see. It is the story that works, but now he enters to find his brother, but all he is greeted is with his spirit. Perhaps, though, the spirit will provide me an answer, and I will know what to do. So I follow the ghost, and I will make the most of the advice he will part upon me. I take these coins which I find on the ground, ruins from a battle once past. I shall light the fire, and I will rebuild his lands. I will honour my brother who has fallen before me. I will hire some archers which will provide me with I will hire some archers which will provide me with protection, and now I will also hire a builder who will provide me with even more protection. I shall build some walls which will protect me from other threats. Now I have the walls, I will be able to prevent my fall. But today is the day of one, and I shall expand, I shall build, and I shall most importantly defend. King Alexander III also found a scripture nearby. It contains the stories of the kingdom of Fyredor, allegedly ruled by his dead brother. So, in order to honour the memory of his mother, who was Queen Alexandria II, who held a domain not far from here, I shall make sure I will fulfill his last request. I will do it to make sure I am the best. I know what I must be done, and what must be done I will do. But what will I do, you ask? Well, I shall make sure we leave these lands, and we will create a boat which will float, and it will find us new lands, guided by the hand of King Alexander II, but in the physical form it shall be King Alexander III who does the work. So I hire a new archer, for we must remember that the best defense is a good offense. Or in this case, a good defense is a good defense, for I am not a man of offense, I am just a man of defense. It seems there is a mysterious monster that lurks these lands. Strange creatures who take things that they find most valuable to them. But good luck smiles upon us, we have found the boat. With a generous donation of 10 coins, I will be able to build it and pack it full of steak of sirloin. So I shall make sure I build up my lands. I shall build a base from which I can operate, and I do not mean any hate, but I may have to exercise punishment that is most capital against the monsters who are somewhat radical in their evil deeds. But the sun sets and the night of one begins. Will tonight be a quiet one? Perhaps it will be. Perhaps the creatures who are rumoured to roam these lands do not know of my presence yet. If that is true, we must take advantage of this and remain calm and use our wealth wisely, of course. I have my trader friend who is ready to lend us a hand, which is good, for he will be the key for me to setting out to new lands. But the moon rises, and now we must begin the night of one. Let us let the moon rise very tall into the sky. I think it will be a long time until King Alexander III will fly. Oh yes, those monsters are most cruel, you know. They do tortures to the kings that most will not speak of. What is that thumping noise, by the way? The monsters attack on the first night! They know I am here. We have no time. We must be ready to fight. Yes, we must be ready to fight. Every night. It looks like our situation is already desperate, but I, King Alexander III, guided by the mysterious hand of Squawker, I find the kingdom of Snakewater. We will become the mightiest kingdom. We will rise above all adversity, and with it I shall build a great university, for education will be the key to discovering new lands. But today is the day of 2, and now I have a few more coins ready to use. But what I should do is I should hire more archers. While I should build the boat soon, I believe it would be smarter if I was to have a strong defense that will see us through the initial nights of the Kingdom of Snakewater, for we are still a weak kingdom and a weak people. Yes, it does not sound nice to call yourself weak, but we must also remember we have to be realistic. Great empires are forged from those of the weak. They are built upon their bodies of the weak who shall fall to the strong. But they are also built on the weak, the initial weaknesses which plague the strong. But the strong will always grow out of their weaknesses. They will learn to conquer them. And that is how they become strong in the end. So not everyone needs to build themselves on the bodies of the weak. Sometimes it is better to use your own weakness and conquer it, and become a man who is strong, and he will live a life that is happy and long. But now my archers will go out on a hunt. Please bring us something. I hope you do. By the way, King Alexander III is not as vulgar as his little brother, but he is also someone who is guided by a god who is somewhat vulgar. His language may sometimes be pejorative, he does not like to ameliorate, but he once more, in his heart he holds no hate. But it looks like the day of 2 is coming to an end. A peaceful and growth-filled day, I will agree. Though there are still rabbits roaming these lands, none of which have been hunted yet, which provides me with no requirement to hang up some bunt, which would make the place look more pleasant, wouldn't you agree? But I still have 2 more coins, and what I can do with the... Oh, it is 3 coins to upgrade a wall, I was going to say. Perhaps we could build a better wall to keep the monsters at bay. But instead we will watch the sunset behind the rocks, for now begins the night of 2, and then we will pass into the day of 3, for the Kingdom of Snakewater will be someone who will be somewhat haughter, or haughtier, to be grammatically and pronunciationally correctus. I love the pink haze as it sinks into the sky. It seems that this land always has a pristine look, a very pristine look. Even when the moon rises, I still hold no hate in my heart. But you know what I should do as well to take myself apart, or at least to pull myself apart from the distraction of the graphics? Or should I say the appearance? The word graphics is something never heard to the King of Alexander III, who is ruler of the Kingdom of Snakewater. No, I should have built an extra stockade, which will create an effective blockade, and that is what my builder is doing. So thank you very much, fair builder. Now we have 2 stockades, which will hopefully provide an effective blockade to keep the monsters at bay. For it looks like this night was peaceful. This is a gift, for we must always remember, do not look a gift horse in the mouth. Otherwise we will find our fortunes will quickly head south. And to head south is a direction most horrible. It is a direction despised by those born in the year of the rat. Take that, you horrible Chinese zodiac masters, who always create strange fortunes for the gods to have to obey. Anyway, here is your coin, fair trader, use it well. Perhaps now I could use these coins to build the initial framework for a ship. Even if it means spending a lot of money, to have the initial framework ready would be something that would be of a great advantage to me. So I go to the ship and I donate it its coins. However, it seems I am 1 penny short. How tragic that is. Oh well, oh well. Perhaps one of the rabbits will provide a coin which will allow me to fizz. I know there are rabbits nearby. Come on, thank you, my friend. Thank you for the coin. With this I will build a boat which will float and will take us to new lands, guided by the hands of myself and my deceased brother. Even if my horse is now most tired, but maybe one day you will be retired. Once we have settled down upon our new land, perhaps the new lands will be free of monsters. I now hope my builder will construct the boat, but I will make sure it floats We shall leave these lands as soon as possible, and then we can evade the monsters who are most horrible. And thank you once more for the coin, fair archer. Do you have any... Thank you more for the coins. I shall recruit an extra archer, unless there are more coins. Perhaps a second builder will become useful very soon. And I do have an extra coin now. So, yes, let us hire another builder who will continue to build our kingdom with the finest timber. If I venture to the west, will there be any more hunters? It seems there are no hunters. But perhaps if I explore for a short while, even if this was the direction from whence I came, perhaps now new elements have come into the game. Though it seems not. I was hoping for a chest of treasure, which would have been something that would have been a great pleasure. Perhaps if I just continue... Aha! I told you there would be a chest of pleasure and treasure. I shall take these coins and invest them smartly. Now I can become a kingdom which will act most heartily. So I will now have to return to the east, even if night is now falling. I suspect there will be no ambush though if there is, there will be a rush to return to the kingdom of Snakewater, a place which is gonna become quite accustomed to the slaughter. But I will ride back to the east. It seems I am just in time, for now the night of free is about to begin, but I have plenty of coin ready to use, ready to expand, for the moon she now rises, and thank you once more for the additional coin, my friend. Now I have a boat which will allow me to sail most true and most straight, but I seem to have no builders in the local vicinity, though I still have plenty of coins. Perhaps I shall invest some of these into a further expansion. Perhaps with flanking walls we can continue our growth and make sure we have more lands which I can rule with my hands. And perhaps I can also establish a greater degree of creativity. Come on, my friends, come on, my builders. We must return to within the walls. You do not want to be caught up in the upcoming slaughter that will occur in the kingdom of Snakewater. For it seems that is Sir False prediction. So instead we shall invest in better walls. Better walls, of course. Better walls will prevent our fall. And then I will invest in further walls, or perhaps I shall not. Perhaps that wall will be enough for now. What I should use the rest of these coins on is for more parts for our fair ship. Or I should instead accidentally press a button which I should not have. It seems that the great god has decreed that that coin should have been given to the peasant. Something I shall not argue with, for sometimes even gods can make mistakes and little finger slips. Though I assure you that was only a blip. But at least I am continuing the hunt, and now I have an extra archer ready to be hired. I cannot be ready to grow tired. I believe the kingdom of Snakewater will be the kingdom which is the one which will win every game it is presented, every challenge it is presented, it will overcome. So I now give it extra parts for our boat, and our builders will continue to build it, and it will float. It will float, most dear, most dear, most dear, most dear. It will be a sight that is splendid. Even if it means many coins had to be spended. Go, my fair builders, and build up my boat. Please, please, please continue to build it. With all these extra parts we will soon be able to leave. We can leave the first land and enter the second. There will be more lands for us to explore and to colonize. It will be a most pleasant experience, where it looks like we are now beginning the second layer of our fine ship. Our fine vessel. Oh yes, it is a vessel. Most lovely. It is. We should term it as a vessel. For with a good vessel, I do not know the words which rhyme with vessel. Gods are not suited to poetry, my friend. I am sorry, but it is the truth. We are just not suited to poetry. We are just suited to guiding and managing. Even if we are poor at it and we get stuck in a cycle of death. But with these 2 more coins, I can now make sure we prevent further death and ensure a greater slaughter within the kingdom of Snakewater. For I still need 1 more coin in order to enable our expansion, our defense. Perhaps I should not have built those walls in the rear, which may provide the monsters with a source of fear. But it seems our trader returns, our day is over. So, what should we do? Perhaps we could build an extra wall at least. Perhaps we can expand our dominion slightly further to the east. For at least then we can maybe hold back the beast. But if we also build further to the east, we are closer to the boat and closer to the object which will float. I shall also purchase a thesaurus, something which rhymes with Tyrannosaurus, but a thesaurus is a tool most useful for finding synonyms and extra rhymes. And even gods must grow tired. Maybe this one will soon be retired, not from his career as a guiding man, but perhaps he will just retire to his bed. For the night is late, and it is late in the kingdom. The kingdom of Snakewater could soon be seeing slaughter, for it is now the night of Thor, and according to the scriptures and the hints left in this place, a blood moon will rise on the tomorrow's night, and we will have to be caught up in a most perilous fight. Though they already attack us now, they try to batter down our weakling walls. They are little more than a palisade they are. But at least even with a palisade, it gives us some sort of blockade. And it also allows us to hold out for tonight, so at least we made it through this fight without too much of a fright. And in the morning my builders shall repair, and I shall continue to upgrade. I shall hire one archer, build one stockade, and then I shall continue to upgrade. But for now I must wait for my trader to give me the money, to which I am most welcome to take. Take this coin and do well with it. And you shall have one bow, and you shall also do well with it. I shall also purchase the stockade, so where we can have more of a defense. And now I hire one archer, and it leaves my coffers most exhausted. This is unfortunate, but at least with these 2 coins I can purchase another part for the boat, which will continue to increase its ability to float. And I saw a deer, oh yes, a deer, and it does not choose to be herded by me. I assume my archer tried to shoot it. Unfortunately, all you did was scare it, you clod. I suspect that this god will not be merciful. But now the moon rises, or it is the sun I should say, though today is so dark you could still think it was night, even if there is a lack of a fight. But we can continue to ride both east and west. Perhaps while the day is still young, I should take advantage of it and march to the east. Perhaps beyond the boat there are other treasures. Perhaps the so-called gift of the gods which has been mentioned in scripture, or even the most mythical chest of coins. So I do march to the east. I see it. The gift of the gods, with a donation of 7 coins, we could upgrade our entire livelihood. But also the mysterious statue. My brother mentioned it once in a letter to me. Oh yes, he did write to me while he sat in a summer garden, looking at the bees. But it seems there is no treasure, which provides me with no pleasure. Just more camps of more vagrants. Oh dear, oh dear. But he tells me that he gave a tithe to this monument so overgrown. But what was that noise? It seems the monument does not welcome my presence. I accept that it does not welcome my presence. I have not given it its tithe. But there is something else which does not welcome my presence. I hear it coming in the distance. The scripture is true. The 5th night of every new kingdom has to face most adversity. It is the night of 5, and the monsters will attack in number. And I suspect this could be where I flumber. For as you can see, my defences are quite weak. I invested coin into escaping too early. Perhaps this will be a lesson for me. Perhaps I was too quick in my approach Perhaps I was, but I see it already. A horrible, horrible sight which stares upon us this night. Now we must fight in order to secure our continued freedom. The moon rises quite quickly. It is passing through the sky. Which direction, which flank is the strategy upon which the monsters have banked? It does not seem they attack from the left, but do they attack from the right? Will it be the right where I have to have a fight? It is, and they broke through. My defenses were weak. I have seen the folly of my ways. Oh, luckily the casualties were minimal. However, I will not make the same mistake as my brother. He wrote of how easy his conquests were, how easy his fight was, and it provided him with a nasty fright when he met his horrible end. Though tonight is the day of 6, and this is where the first chapter of the Kingdom of Snakewater will end. We nearly had a horrible slaughter occur on our lands, and it was all at my hands because I did not invest. I will invest now, I will invest, I will become the best. But that is a story for another day. You will witness that though tomorrow, my friends. But for now, I bid thee good night, and I hope you have a pleasant sleep. This is all for the tonight story. I hope you join us for the next chapter in the kingdom, which will be built upon new lands and expand to new lands. Goodbye.